My first real heartbreak felt like the end of the world. I was in high school and everything felt so intense, so permanent. When the relationship ended, it was like a physical ache in my chest that wouldn't go away. I remember replaying every conversation, every shared laugh, and every whispered promise in my head, trying to pinpoint where it all went wrong. The world, which once seemed so bright and full of color, suddenly turned into shades of gray. I lost my appetite for food and for life, isolating myself from friends and family who tried their best to comfort me. It was a profound sadness that seemed to cling to me like a shadow I couldn't shake off. Moving on from that first love was a slow and painful process. It took me nearly 2 years to feel like myself again. 2 years of listening to sad songs on repeat, writing long entries in my journal, and staring at the ceiling at night, wondering if I would ever feel whole again. Every little thing reminded me of him: a song on the radio, a specific brand of chips at the grocery store, the scent of a certain perfume. It felt like I was trapped in a time loop of memories, unable to break free. Friends would tell me to just get over it, but they didn't understand the depth of the void he had left behind. It was a long journey of healing, one small step at a time. Looking back, I see that this experience taught me so much about my own strength. At the time, I thought the pain would be my forever companion, but slowly, day by day, the ache began to lessen. I started finding joy in small things again, like spending time with my family or laughing with my friends over something silly. It taught me that healing isn't a race. It's a marathon with no defined finish line. The experience showed me that I was capable of surviving something I thought would break me completely. It was my first real lesson in resilience, a lesson that would become incredibly important in the years to come. That initial heartbreak set the stage for how I would approach relationships in the future. It made me more cautious, more aware of how vulnerable love could make a person. It was a harsh but necessary introduction to the complexities of human connection. The pain was immense, but the lessons were invaluable. It forced me to look inward and understand my own needs and boundaries better. While I wouldn't wish that kind of pain on anyone, I recognized that it was a crucial part of my journey. It was the storm that cleared the path for future growth, even if I couldn't see it through the tears at the time. Entering college was like stepping into a whole new universe of relationships. I was determined to be wiser this time, to protect my heart more carefully. My first serious college relationship was monogamous, built on what I thought were solid foundations of trust and mutual respect. It felt different from high school love. It was more mature, more intentional. We shared dreams about the future and supported each other through late-night study sessions and stressful exams. For a while, it felt stable and secure, a safe harbor in the often chaotic sea of university life. It was a partnership where we were each other's number one. However, moving on from this monogamous relationship was surprisingly quick, almost clinical. When we realized we were growing in different directions, the breakup was sad but amicable. It took me only a few months to feel ready to move forward. This experience taught me that not all endings have to be devastating. Sometimes people can part ways with love and respect, acknowledging that their paths are simply diverging. It was a stark contrast to my first heartbreak, showing me that moving on was not about a fixed timeline, but about the nature of the connection and the maturity with which it ends. I learned that I could let go without shattering into a million pieces. Then came a more complicated chapter, a bigamous relationship. This was an experience I never anticipated, a situation where feelings were divided and boundaries were blurred. It was emotionally taxing, a constant balancing act that left me feeling drained and confused. There was a continuous sense of insecurity, a feeling that I was never truly enough on my own. It was a whirlwind of intense emotions, from fleeting moments of happiness to long periods of anxiety and doubt. This relationship challenged everything I thought I knew about love, commitment, and what I deserved. It pushed me to my emotional limits in ways I hadn't experienced before. Moving on from that complex situation was a slow and messy process, but it was faster than my high school heartbreak. It took about a year of intentional healing. The pain was different. It wasn't just sadness, but also a deep sense of disappointment in myself for allowing myself to be in that position. I had to unlearn the toxic patterns and redefine my own worth outside of someone else's divided attention. This period taught me the importance of clear boundaries and the non-negotiable need for respect and honesty in any relationship. It was a hard-earned lesson in recognizing red flags and choosing myself over a chaotic and painful connection. Just as I was navigating the complexities of college life and love, my health took an unexpected turn. I became seriously ill, and suddenly, my world shrank to the size of a hospital room. The daily worries about classes, relationships, and social drama faded into the background. All that mattered was my body and the fight to get better. This intense health battle became my primary focus, forcing me to confront my own mortality in a way I never had before. It was a scary and isolating experience, but it also brought a strange sense of clarity. When you're fighting for your life, everything else gets put into perspective. My illness completely changed my view of love and relationships. I realized that true love isn't about grand gestures or dramatic declarations. It's about presence. It's about who shows up when you are at your absolute worst. It's the friend who brings you your favorite soup, the family member who sits with you in silence, or the partner who holds your hand through painful treatments without flinching. I saw that real love is quiet, steady, and unwavering. It's not about the highs of passion, but the strength found in steadfast support during the lowest of lows. The superficial aspects of attraction and romance seem so trivial in comparison. During this time, I had a lot of time to think. I reevaluated what I was looking for in a partner and, more importantly, what I needed. I understood that I deserved someone who would be my teammate, not just in the good times, but in the trenches. Someone whose love was a source of strength, not stress. The experience of being so physically vulnerable made me crave emotional safety above all else. I no longer had the energy for games, for uncertainty, or for relationships that drained me. My health scare was a wake-up call, urging me to seek relationships that nurtured my soul and contributed to my healing, not my suffering. This period of sickness was a reset button for my heart. It stripped away all the illusions I had about love and left me with the raw, honest truth. I learned that a healthy relationship should feel like a safe haven, a place where you can be your most authentic and vulnerable self without fear of judgment or abandonment. It's about a connection that adds to your well-being, that supports your growth, and that stands firm even when the storms of life hit. My physical healing became intertwined with my emotional healing, as I vowed to no longer accept anything less than a love that was pure, supportive, and kind. The lessons from my heartbreaks and my health battle began to connect, forming a powerful roadmap for my future. I saw a clear pattern. The pain from past relationships stemmed from a lack of self-worth. I had accepted love that was conditional, divided, or simply not enough because I didn't believe I deserved more. My illness, however, taught me how precious my life and energy were. I realized I couldn't afford to waste them on people who didn't value me. The strength it took to fight for my health was the same strength I needed to fight for my own happiness and to demand the respect I deserved in my relationships. With graduation approaching, I made a conscious decision to shift my focus inward. I decided to pour all the love and energy I was giving away so freely into myself. This meant setting firm boundaries and learning to say no to anything or anyone that brought me pain. It was time to prioritize my own healing and personal growth. I started investing in my hobbies, strengthening my friendships, and focusing on my studies. It was about building a life that I loved, independent of a romantic partner. I was determined to walk across that graduation stage as a whole person, not someone waiting for another to complete them. This journey towards self-love empowered me to recognize red flags early on. I learned from my past mistakes. The insecurity I felt in the bigamous relationship, the emptiness after the high school heartbreak, these were feelings I vowed never to ignore again. I started trusting my intuition. If a situation felt wrong, it was wrong for me. I no longer tried to rationalize someone's poor behavior or make excuses for their lack of respect. Loving myself meant protecting myself, and that became my #1 priority. I was no longer afraid of being alone. I was more afraid of being with the wrong person. To anyone reading this who may be struggling with a broken heart, I want to leave you with this thought. Please value yourself. Never settle for someone who makes you question your worth or who doesn't love and respect you fully. You are incredible just as you are. The most important relationship you will ever have is the one with yourself. Nurture it, protect it, and honor it. When you learn to love yourself unconditionally, you will no longer accept a love that is anything less. Focus on your own healing and growth, and trust that the right kind of love will find you when you are ready. A love that adds to your life, rather than subtracts from it.